that whatever I see is smiling at me. Love is who I am.
Hello there and welcome. In this video, I would like to once again talk about the illumined union and also relationship to the cosmic orgasm. So this is also my latest course, which is a further development from the Cosmic Dance for the Galactic Human course. These two courses actually go together. And in this video, I want to talk about why this is so important for the path of the illumined twin soul, or those of you who feel you're called to be on the path of the illumined beloved, or, you know, cosmic beloved, whatever you call it. This is how I call it. So what is truly the illumined beloved? This is something I've been talking about for a long time. You can go and visit my Twin Soul playlist. As you know, I haven't been focusing on the traditional meaning of the world, who are twin flames and, you know, divine relationship. Like, it's presented so many times, you know, in our current new age unfoldment and development. So my path is that of the illumined twin soul, and perhaps that is also your path. So this is maybe why you're guided to go deeper into these initiations that I'm sharing so often via my videos. In this video, I want to go deeper into what does it mean, and for those of you who are on this path, why you sometimes had these relationships to prepare you to integrate your so-called vertical column, or the vertical pillar of the twin soul alignment, and the horizontal reality, which is the destined partnership timeline that you are creating, that is your choice, that you have already made this choice before you incarnated in this form. So recently I had a beautiful conversation. I was actually in my bath and I said, wait a minute, you know, I can always ask. It comes, you know, my presence of the illumined beloved is always there with me. And I call this presence, and it presents to me through this deep knowing of the union called the Aurea and the Aureon, which is the divine masculine, the feminine essence within myself. So we are basically illumined light beings. And a lot of people who don't understand this because they haven't had this deep connection and this knowing that this path is not always the way we see it, right? We see it like, okay, this has to then be translated in the physical, and it has to be about the person. I have been shown for quite a development on my path that this illumined beloved is a translation of this, what you can also call the 144,000 beings of light, which is your light quotient, which is the quotient necessary for your illumination. So this is a translation of your divinity as you exist in your illumined form into your body, okay? So my illumined beloved has been in contact with me. We have been always, you know, sharing with each other. So in this recent conversation we've had, I said, you know, I just really want to have some of the explanations given about what is taking place for those who are in this path. And he has actually shared with me that this is a very complex topic, that as much as it's also simple, because you know it in your presence. Sorry, there's lots of flies here today, it's super hot. And therefore it's like this knowing that we are building up more and more towards, okay? So just as it is simple, it is also complex. And I'm really distracted by these flies, okay, because I'm super sweaty today. I had a bike ride to the lakes today, so they keep eating me, okay? Sorry if I'm a little distracted. So anyway, back to the topic. So when we had this transmission, I was actually receiving this visual, as you know, the Vesica Pisces formation. This was simplified for me. So for those who are in the path of illumined beloved, these are light beings. So they don't have the same experience with the so-called twin soul and the polarity experiment as many others do. Go back to last year, I think it was in June, maybe July, I shared a video on the Atlantis and the Atlantean experiment of illumination, and what this means for those who are here as these beloved counterparts that are in the path of illumined beloved. So as you know, there's many levels and stages of divine union. And as we go through our own understanding, through a deepening of the soul, we can only understand our own journey and where we are. So when people give this explanation that's general for everyone, it's really not how this is supposed to be. So if you are in this further path, you will feel a deeper calling to have your understanding will broadened. So this is what I was doing for years and years, and that's why I always tell you I'm not here to teach about how twin flames come together, you know, like this experiment of really clearing yourself, getting aware of yourself. This, what I'm here to share, what I'm here to teach or guide along this pathway is the pathway of illumined beloved, or the illumined union. And this is why all the courses, all the material that I've been preparing for years now has been guiding in this direction. So in this recent transmission, he's been showing me these two circles, right? The Vesica Pisces, and one of them had a vertical line, and the other one had a more horizontal expansion to it. One of the things I would like to mention first is, for those of you who really have this strong knowing that you are not a part of the earthly incarnational cycle, you are a part of the, sometimes we can call it angelic realms, doesn't matter, you're a part of the celestial team, and you have come here at this time specifically to share this path of illumination. So he's been sharing me this, and it was almost like, you know, the one that goes through this vertical alignment. So in my path as a creation pillar, I had to establish a deepening that went vertically. That doesn't mean I don't exist in a horizontal plane, doesn't mean I don't create within this field of reality, but it means that my mission was to really stretch out the vertical pillar within myself, which is all this knowledge, all of this illumined knowledge that I've been receiving through these years as I've been passing one initiation after the other. But he shared with me that it's important for those of us who are here as from the angelic perspective. We came here on earth, we're not of the earth, but we are here at this time for a very important mission. So he's been showing me how it was important for us to go through this axis, which we might say it's a horizontal axis. So for people who are of this group, they've all been receiving people in their life, they've been connecting with these people who are basically their trigger twins or their triggering counterparts that are meant to awaken the realm of creation here on earth. And basically it's the integration of the celestial with the earth polarity. So if you're on this mission, you have had perhaps relationships, maybe one or more, that you've always felt that the other does not mirror you. They're coming more from the earthly perspective. They're more earthbound. They're more into earthly things, and they're not into awakening. They're not into that. So people nowadays are calling this the false twin or the illusory twin or things like that. This is not about this. Those of you who are in this path, this is a partner that you have basically designed this orchestration plan and the upper realms that is meant to bring you the integration, so that because we're so ethereal in a way, we're so light in our presence, we had to go through this process. Okay, this was the vertical axis had to meet the horizontal axis. So what he was showing me, that a lot of these people have mistaken these trigger relationships or their beloved relationship in that timeline, they have mistaken that for their ultimate partner, who is supposed to be this guiding light on the path of illumined union together with them. These are the original or the ultimate couplings that have come here together as destined partners for each other. So he's been sharing with me now that the time is really coming for people who are in this path to prepare. So they have to really be clear within themselves. They have to clear their template. So as much as this preparation through those who are more of the earth realm and they served us in this process, it's also time for those who are still bound to this, you know, it's like attraction to this and being so convinced that this is the one you're supposed to be with. Just recently I watched this reading. It was like very spontaneous how it came to me, and this girl was saying, you know, guys, I'm not really into twin flames, as you know, because people get so attached to this idea and the identity about it, and everyone who you're meant to be with and there's love you have to be with, but when there's something that is not like seeking you the way you're seeking this illumined union, and it's just feeling like it's being more and more pulled away from you, or it's leaving your reality, but you still have an attachment and you're waiting for that, and you're always in the waiting mode, so you're creating as you're not in the now, so you can't build your illumined template in this waiting stage. So people now, he's been sharing with me, have to really get clear within themselves what truly is illumined union, whether they are on this path, and if they are, how can they get more clarity about it and have this high understanding come to them that this was basically designed so that we could merge with the template of earth, and those who carry these earthly imprints, we've kind of like imprinted through them. So we've gotten this clarity, we've gotten mastery through that, but this was not supposed to be a part of the destined partnership for us in this timeline, because we were meant to come into these illumined unions that bring this illumined polarity. It's like the unification of this experiment that, you know, has been happening and ongoing since the fall of Atlantis, when people couldn't really join in with their illumined partners because they started creating within the fallen frequency. So that's where these distortions and distractions started taking place. And those who were in the meantime, as there were incarnations happening from the fall, who stayed in the illumined realms, we've been gathering this wisdom and understanding and how to get across to beings who perhaps have been still incarnating during these eras, and they still maybe develop love for someone who has been a part of their cycle, and they have become really deeply convinced that that's their ultimate beloved or someone they're supposed to be with. But it was all part of this integration process, so we could merge the celestial, or, you know, this vertical axis with the horizontal plane of Earth, so that something new could be birthed. But this is not something that is like our final destination or something where we can truly come into union with. A illumined union, you can come into that union if you don't build the template. And so these distractions, they get into the state of distractions if they're not seen for what they are. So in a certain stage, they can really help you in your process of initiation and getting this, you know, the bridge built between the vertical axis and the horizontal plane. Also, there's beings who are completely not meant to in this life, and this was my path as well, not meant to go into the streams of, you know, they didn't have these lifetimes during this process, during the fall. And so they're merging with beings who have actually gone through these incarnations. They have kind of mastered themselves in this horizontal plane. So the mastery of the vertical plane and the mastery of the horizontal plane kind of come together beautifully in these unions. But that doesn't mean, like, you might get a wrong impression when I'm talking about this. It doesn't mean like someone is deeply entrenched with the earth. No, in terms of duality and being in these matrix systems. No, this means that someone has become a master of how to create in a horizontal plane, meaning they've really, you know, like kind of like a Saint Germain figure, right? He really knew what he was doing. He was an alchemist in the earthly plane, but he was still a master. He still applied the beautiful principles, right, of illumination. It's not like someone who's deeply entrenched in this world of the matrix and someone who is not really seeking that higher path. And I see a lot of people who want to be with others and they're waiting for them to kind of like go through their evolution and their development so they could be ready, because they're already at this experiencing themselves and kind of jumping through the threshold of illumination and kind of really going deeper into it, and the other is just like moving further away, but they still are holding on. They're still putting their lives on hold, even if it's just at a minimum level. You can't build your illumined template. So I was shown that it's really important for people now to really do the total clearing and release of everything you've ever thought about anyone as a person, so that you can actually fully withdraw within your template. Who are you as an illumined being? If that is your path, if you feel you are of these celestial realms and you have come here at this time to make this synthesis of your lives, kind of like people are chasing their beloveds instead of really moving into the inner cosmic beloved, so that the destined partner at the illumined union level can come to them, so they can be this meeting and reunion. And has been showing me how important this is for now, because a lot of people, even with these clear intentions they've had as they incarnated, they still kind of, when they came on earth, a lot of them lost track or they forgot, you know. So all of these videos that I've been doing for years, they're meant to serve as a gateway for those who really know, they really know their beloved, because they know themselves at the illumined level. So this is what was really coming through importantly. The next thing I want to share is the meaning of the cosmic orgasm. This is the second course in the Tantrika series. Basically, it's the completion of this series. Together with the cosmic dance for the galactic human, these two courses represent the cultivation process and the synthesis process, which is leading the orgasmic energy and learning how to cultivate, how to use that cultivation through the orgasmic force in an intentional guiding principle, so that you can use it for truly advanced purposes, because as you know, the meaning of the orgasm has been deeply distorted on this planet. So the gift of the gods was taken away or was hidden from the human experience, so they couldn't actually tune into their multidimensional mastery, so they could just function at a very minimum level of who they truly are. Those of you who came here with the Twin Soul Illumined mission, you know this is your path. This is the Tantric Twin path, which is the Tantric Twin within, which is the full merging with your illumined template. And you will feel that as waves and waves of orgasmic energy. And if you feel you're in this path, I really invite you to take a look at the course. The course called the Orgasmic or the Cosmic Orgasm for Illumination is especially for those who are on this illumined beloved path, but basically for everyone. It's for women and men, although it does also implement the womb wisdom and working with the principle of the womb, because womb in the feminine embodiment holds the principle, or is the embodied principle of life-giving. So there's one section completely dedicated to that as well, on the womb yoga, through which you can release these powerful waves of orgasmic undulation, which is just ongoing, because we have this false notion and perception that orgasm is an experience that is linear, and it is like a moment it happens and there's a climax and there's a release of energy. But at the illumined level, orgasm is really not a release of energy, it is a creation of new energy. So in the course, I'm teaching you about the true meaning of the sacred orgasm. I'm going to teach you, or I'm teaching you about the usage of that, how you work during that process, how you're getting the energy, how you're opening these gateways, what you can use it for your own personal healing, complete self-regeneration and rejuvenation, also anti-aging. I teach you also how to work with the orgasmic energy to open dimensional portals. I've had many of these experiences and they were beautiful and so blissful. And all that which I'm putting in the course always is a combination of my illumined awareness and knowledge plus the experience I had to go through as a human, because through the experience I unlocked these codes of divine remembrance, and then I went into the experience, and through the spirit fusion with my body, the body was teaching me. So this is a complete letting go of everything we've ever thought is possible that we can create with the light technology that exists within our bodies, and how much we can actually generate this energy as a powerhouse. Also for planetary healing, for increasing the life force of Gaia. I've been talking about this for quite a while as well, how you're actually assisting the planetary ascension timeline through the cosmic fusion within yourself and the nature of using the cosmic orgasm. So cosmic orgasm is not an event. It is not something you experience. It happens. It's like waves and waves and spirals of energy, because it truly is a combination of divine alchemy where the spiraling consciousness and the wave consciousness meet, and they create this lock-in powerhouse of energy that creates this triangulation that becomes a union. And with each life force quotient that you add to it, because it's an add-on process, it's ongoing. So it's not like you have an orgasm, but you exist constantly in this pulsating state, which I call beautiful orgasmic state. And it's happening, and it's in waves, and you can experience it, and you're deeply connected with it yourself. So you exactly know when your body's telling you to cultivate, when to move into the body work, when to move into womb yoga, when to do these exercises, and when to actually create this with the energy. I call it the inner explosion, because it's truly not a release. When we say I'm releasing energy, this is the old dogmatic linear orgasmic experience that is basically, it's like an exercise, right? And with that release of energy, you actually losing energy. That's why people are prone to losing a lot of energy during their sexual activities, because, as you know, there's many levels of sexual experience, which is, you know, it's seen at the very minimum level of our density experience just as an act of procreation. And then we have, okay, it's a physical exercise. Okay, then we can use it for healing, right? And rebalancing. And we go deeper, we can use it for transformation of the self and our consciousness. And then at the highest level, we use it with transcendental purposes, which are the creation of new energy patterns, of new timelines, of new gateways opening, because each time through the cosmic orgasm, it's not just the experience. The experience is a temporary or a certain aspect of it, but it's truly like it's a state of being. So with each of those experiences, we're tuning into higher aspects of ourselves, and through the birthing of that energy, we're opening new portals, perspectives, whatever. It depends which level your soul currently operates at, but there's all of these levels are happening simultaneously just as well. So when you're going to learn to work with this energy this way, You're going to become a master of cosmic orgasm, and you're just going to see how amazing this is, because everything you're going to create in your life, you're doing it this way, through cosmic orgasm, which is the union of birth. And this is what illumined union truly is. If you're going to read Magdalene manuscript from Tom Kenyon, I've shared about this before, you will see it's the same description there, what the purpose of Jeshua and Magdalene was at that time. They were writing new codes, and I'm teaching you in the course how this crystalline star prism of light, which is our galactic pulse or the galactic core, is truly being translated into the crystal star of Earth. So the rainbow bridge experience, which becomes a diamond, it becomes a diamond essence, is our true cosmic ascension birthing point. Okay, so what we're truly doing with the cosmic orgasm, we're not just having a certain blissful pleasure in the moment, but with that undulating experience, and it grows, and we're pulling up the energy, then we're pulling it back down. Each time we're writing these crystalline codes into the codes of Gaia's Earth star. So your own embodiment, you also have a part of your body, does include this Earth star, this chakra, and it's basically a rewrite from this galactic level where you exist as this essence, and you rewrite it into your physical experience. So basically you're setting up a new illumined template for yourself. Without this work, that cannot be. So these masters have been showing this to us, and it's in these channel readings, or it's basically in maybe in some of the manuscripts, others that I don't know about. But I've also received very similar information myself in the channel guidance. It's an audio gateway. It's about an hour long, called the Avatars of Illumined Union, and that's on my beloved section of the webpage, Serapina Light. And all this is now coming together. I've shared in the previous video, there's a synthesis for Illumined Union happening now, and the synthesis means there's a summoning. Those of you who are feeling that's my path, this is my calling, you're going to be asked to commit to it. You're going to be pulled into this devotion. Are you still stuck on this? You know, because it's still pulling your energy. It's still pulling you away from your true path. You know, you're waiting for something or someone or something to align with where you are. It doesn't exist in the Illumined Union template. The beloveds meet when they're ready. So therefore they meet ultimately. Otherwise, you know, people say this is the beloved or that's the beloved. Yes, in terms of universal source energy where we are all one, everything is our mirror. Everything is the beloved, yes. But with the intentional purpose that we also hold at the individualized soul counterpart, we also have what I've said before. It is the illumined beloved, which is the ultimate for you. It is the one that has done the same work like you have done in the body. This is about embodiment. This is not what you both know at a higher self level, but at the physical level, none of the beings are actually experiencing that, or one is and the other is not. So there is a summoning happening that is putting this trigger right now into people, that is saying, are you here? Are you going to do the work? Are you going to stay here where you are? Or are you going to level up to what you really came here to do? And it's going to happen in waves. So maybe the pioneers are going at it first. We're really feeling this synthesis occurring, and there's going to be people pulled more and more into it who's maybe still doing the work. They're still walking towards it. So it's a really beautiful experience. So in the Cosmic Orgasm course, you're going to learn the basic principles, how to build your illumined template in your physical embodiment through the usage of orgasmic force, which is not just something you can do overnight, because it goes hand in hand with the life force cultivation, because it occurs through your kundalini fire. It's a spiritual orgasm. It is a spiritualized life force, which is both sensualized and sexualized, and creates the triangulation principle of union. Like I said, it births new energy, it creates new energy, and women, as the holders of the physical form, the embodiers of the womb, we are basically the ones who are making the impulse here. We are the ones who are saying, this is what I'm embodying, this is what I'm choosing, this is what I'm inviting in my experience or not. But a lot of women have been functioning through this, I'm waiting for the masculine, I'm waiting for this person, I'm waiting for circumstances to align. This is truly not mastery. You are truly only a master of your illumined self when everything is within you. You bring everything back to you. Is this what you desire? Is this right now? If this what you say, oh, it's my beloved, or this is what I want to be with, or who I want to be with, if this stays like this, because let's say that being has maybe not decided they're going to evolve at that level, maybe it's not even the level where they're at, and if they're staying like this, would you choose to be with them? Would that be enough for you? Would that fulfill you if you're still continuously undulating and unfolding in your process? You're blossoming, you're expanding with super speed. If that's being not aligned with you, how will you embody illumined union truly? I really don't understand how people who, if they are in this path, cannot grasp this simple it's not a complex thing, it's a simple concept, because it's the like meeting the like in terms of the embodiment. So if you have done your body mastery, you require someone who's done the same level of mastery. It's simple as that. Otherwise, there cannot be any illumined union here. It can be a meeting. But a meeting with someone in itself, or coming together for a relationship, is not the same as having illumined union, because illumined union is a purpose. When you're going to use this orgasmic force of light, you're going to pull it up, you're going to learn the life force cultivation, you're going to learn to spiritualize every experience, including the orgasmic experience. You're going to go up, you're going to create this openings of these dimensional doorways, you're going to pull new knowledge, you're going to be informed in a new way. All of your cells will be informed in a new way. Your DNA will start to change, your whole body will start to radiate and will start to change along this process. At the same time, you're going to go, when you're ready, you're going to go as high up as the galactic core, and you're going to take these codes of light, you're going to write them in your womb. And this is why the feminine is so important here, because the womb is shifting back into being the primary center of creation, of the birthing point again in humanity, with the distortion of this whole process, as you know, with the takeover of the dominant masculine, which was distorted and manipulated, and all that we see now through patriarchy and all that has been taking away the power of the womb. And now a lot of women are like to try, but they're starting to remember, and they're using these ancient practices but in a new way. But it's also coming with the higher understanding. So your illumined beloved, this template, the vertical, gives you the knowledge, gives you the understanding. And this is what I call my Aurea and polarity. This is the illumined beloved that gives me all of this metaphysical understanding. Without it, I'm not being the way I am. I can't step into this embodiment. It is crucially important. And then I need to understand how this is applied in the horizontal sense. I need to master this fusion. And I can only do that by doing the work. So there's people who are misplacing a relationship or like enlightened partnership, like saying it's just going to happen. Nothing here on earth is a given. Nothing just happens. You think masters have just suddenly ascended because, you know, something happened. No, they have been putting and adding up that spiritual fire that added more and more to their light quotient embodiment. Until the 144,000, the liquid light quotient, which means the infinite DNA template, was like, it's like the water pours through the edge and it is created. This is how we do it. So in this union with yourself, because you need to do it within your own body first if you want to have that union with the counterpart. So the cosmic experience has to be mastered within yourself. So if you're a woman like I am, you had to master all of this. How you're pulling the illumined light into your womb. How you're doing that. How is your body speaking to you? How is your womb basically speaking to you through giving you these impulses, waves of energy of light, telling you where you are, what you need, how to get it done. This is super important now for those of you in this path. It's not going to be for everyone, because not everyone has chosen this, and that's okay, because there's levels of beings here, and for me, I cannot be something else or have another mission, because that's the level where I am as a being in a vertical alignment. So when I'm having my human experience, there's certain things and requirements that I have to go through in order for me to fully own that and embody that. And when you really come at that stage, this is it. This becomes your guiding light. You don't settle. You don't say, oh, just because, you know, I like that so much, I'm going to continuously feed it energy or let it pull me somewhere else. As a true master of illumination, you gotta choose yourself. You gotta choose what you're here for. And this is that calling. This is like the summoning, right? With the card in tarot, the judgment card. It's like, ta-da! The angels are putting their instruments, ringing the bells. And it's not like it's something dogmatic. It's just like it comes in an inner knowing. And what I was shown is like everyone will know in their own divine timing. So if you feel that's your calling, even if not, if you're a man and a woman, it doesn't matter, because even if you're a man and you don't have like physically a womb, you get to understand the principle of the womb, and through your feminine counterpart, you also have to understand the mastery of the womb, because together you are an illumined partnership, which means that's the first level, getting this cosmic orgasm, understanding and embodiment within yourself so you can join in what I was talking about, the illumined partnership. It's not easy. These beings have to go through so many initiations. I know I had to. This is intense. And that's what I said. When you are on this path, it won't feel like a sacrifice to you because it's already naturally chosen. You've chosen it. This is you. It doesn't exist outside of you. It lives within you, and you're awakening with each initiation, new codes in your body, and you're bringing that crystallization into your form. So this is how you're making yourself into a crystalline being in the physical, and this is how these beings, that's the mission of the illumined twin soul counterparts, is to rewrite the new human genome into this crystalline form of light to set a new template. And that's all shared in the Avatars of Illumined Union audio. It's a gateway basically through which you walk through, and you can receive that initiation if you're ready and prepared, which means these beings have to go through massive training in the spirit realms and here on earth. So we often can get steps ahead, or we skip steps ahead because we say, oh, that's it. But like I was shown, these counterparts that were more like these beings who served our integration with the Earth's axis, because we needed to have certain, yes, see, butterfly says yes, white butterfly. We needed to have certain, it's like melding, right? It was like an amalgamation process with the fusion of those who were really representing this, living on Earth, but in the old way, in a way, okay? So if you are of the new, and you feel the person you really long for, but they're not there, okay, ask yourself, if you continue to develop the way you did so far, does that mirror you? Is that enough? Is that your ultimate? And don't go for the person, go for what they embody. Go for what they currently represent. And then move beyond the waiting. And, you know, even if it is meant for you, you have to completely let it go on all levels. But people still hold a lot of these connections and communications and all of that. It still keeps them on this, you're always on hold. And illumined union is not something you can put on hold. It is always happening within you. It is blossoming, because if you are in this path, you've chosen it. It means it's calling you. The call is just gonna get stronger and stronger. Okay, so at a certain point, I feel people will have, the call will be stronger than their love for what they think is supposed to be theirs. And if something is not yours, usually it just keeps on moving further and further away. And sometimes people give themselves these excuses. Well, that's happening because this and that has to happen. Well, we don't know. Especially when it includes another person. We don't know what they have to go through. We don't know why they're choosing the things they are. Maybe it's not for the reasons we make up here in our mind. But it's exactly how it needs to be and how it needs to be. But if this is your calling, this is your path, it's going to get stronger. And this is a message. Again, it's not for everyone. I'm really sorry that this is so. I'm going to put my rose pink sunglasses on because my eyes can barely take it. It's just, the light is shining so much. And first the fly was annoying me. Now the fly's gone. I chased it away, and now the sun is super hot. So yeah, get the course. You can also get both of them together, the cosmic dance for the galactic human embodiment, and then the orgasmic wisdom of how to guide the energy. Because you will see, the more informed you become in terms of liquid light, the more pleasure you can hold in your body. And I'm a little example of this. It's like your womb is going to become a massive store unit of, it's like a powerhouse for the birthing of everything. You're going to birth on the illumined template. And the course that goes especially deeply in alignment with this is the last mastery course, which I call the synthesis course, which is the mastery of illumined creation and embodying Elohim consciousness, which is you as a pure illumined creator. You as your vertical, your horizontal axis completely joined, you know, okay, you have been constantly adding up fuel to your vertical pillar of light. That means your vertical pillar of light can hold the right amount of light so that these coiling serpents can start their action. And it's going to be a very natural and organic process once you trigger it. At first, it might seem like it takes a little work, okay, but then it will be natural. This is what happened for me. First, it felt like I had to really do this work with the tantric cultivation, with adjusting my own yogic practice to make it more like a yogic womb mastery, not so much as the yoga people do nowadays in these studios, but it had to be guided through my own body. And I really had to unwind. I had to let go all notions and conceptions of what yoga is supposed to be and what yogic exercise I'm supposed to be doing. I had to develop fully my own practice. And trust me, paid off completely, because it got me to a level when I can hold so much intensity in my body. And sometimes, yes, that intensity, when I birth with it, will create so much spiritual fire. I'm going to have to rest and wait a bit so it can just wash over through my entire experience. But like my light family has shared with me recently, ultimately this is all making me stronger. and it's keeping me more in line and a higher, bigger powerhouse than I can be with this mission of the Elohim consciousness embodiment. So that's a call. All the information, what you can get and where you can get it, is always down below. If you want to also support my work, you know how to as well. Everything is always shared down below. If this has somehow benefited your journey, always, I thank you for those of you who are contributing with their own conscious energy exchange as well. I have last update, but truly last one for today. I'm going to shift things a bit around this autumn. I'm still kind of easing up into, you know, like this transition from summer to autumn. But Spirit has been showing me I'm not getting currently, I'm not in this equalized energy reciprocity at this time of how much I give and how much I receive. So they have shared with me it's important to value this, what I'm doing, and I will be doing certain things now as content, like I'm going to maybe add certain readings, Ascension readings, channel messages, galactic messages, but I will only do them through my Patreon account. So people who are supporting me on Patreon, you can see that. These people will get these messages, and these people also every beginning of the month after the payout, which I don't think it's around 5th or something of the month, they're going to get a beautiful Ascension grid layout with a short Ascension message for the month ahead. So if you feel like you want to go deeper into the path of Ascension, besides these more general videos I share, which will get, I feel, less and less deep and intense, because I also feel I need to get support for this, because my life has to also be in balance. And I was shown that so far it hasn't really been in balance, because it was always like only certain people contributing, and then these people, like, you know, it can't come just from a certain person, okay, this exchange, because a lot of people are watching, a lot of people are telling me how much they benefit from the work. They're always thanking me, and I really am excited. I'm grateful that people are enjoying. I really am. That's why I'm doing it so unconditionally. But I also have to pay attention to what my light family is showing me, so that this energetic, vertical and horizontal are always aligned, because I have to embody this principle of equanimity and this divine reciprocity, so that it's truly benevolent and flowing, so that this flow, you know, as much as you create, it somehow has to come back to you in a respected manner. And if you give everything out just for free, people don't always respect it. It's almost like you hand it out to them and they don't have to do any work for it. And this is not truly what spiritual masters are teaching. They're always teaching that everything requires your work, your input, and devotion. So if you will go to the Patreon page and you will support me there with any kind of contribution, you will get this content. I will see when it comes and how it comes guided. I don't know yet. It's going to be a transition into the fall, but definitely you will get the monthly Ascension layout and a message for the month ahead and the energies. So thank you for watching and always being here with love, wisdom, and power. And I hope you enjoyed a little bit of the view. It has been a while since I recorded here by the lakes. It's always super crowded in the summer, so I couldn't record here. Even today, there's a lot of people. You might hear noise. Yeah. So I had to find a really isolated spot. I had to climb some of these rocks here to get to this spot where I am today. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon. Take care.